do not have one of the instruments from the percussion family, which is what all these instruments are, hopefully you could, well, I don't see anybody jumping up, so everybody has an instrument? Okay, yeah, whatever, you know, choose your poison. I will talk about the instruments a little bit later. And just so you have a little projection, we're going to have a little jam session just to get into the spirit of music making, because that's what this is about. Okay, and then you can stash your instrument under your chair while I get to talk through the PowerPoint, hopefully without going too long on that, and then we'll get back to the instruments. And when we get back to the instruments, feel free to swap out for another instrument. You could continue to use the one you've already picked, but you know, there's plenty of instruments, so you could walk over and say, let me try this one for a while, okay? Because we're going to do a lot of playing. Okay, this is hands-on music making this afternoon, okay? My title that I'm more familiar with for many, many years is Teacher Paul, that the kids always refer to me as. And the role of Teacher Paul is as a music leader, not as a music teacher. We will talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to go into my role of Teacher Paul and be a music leader, okay? And I'm emphasizing that because I'm going to show all of you how you too can be a music leader. That's actually the hidden agenda of this afternoon. So, as music leader, I've often used one of these. Okay, this. So just for our own, you know, musical joy, because you know, the sound of the guitar is quite musical. All right, but you certainly don't have to have a guitar to be a music maker. So I'm not sure what you picked from the table, but whatever you picked, I hope it's in your hand right now. So put your papers down. This is, you can write. You can write for the next 22 hours, but for the next 2 hours of this day is music making. All right. All right. So I see some people. I'll tell you what. If you picked a drum, only the people who picked the drum. And by the way, drums can look like this as well as like this, okay? This is often identified as a drum, but some people think, gee, it's a tambourine that they forgot to put the discs on. So this is not a tambourine. This is a drum, so this counts. So tell you what, if you picked a drum of any size, shape, or nature, I would like you to hit that drum right now real fast. Oh, yes. Seeds or beans inside that when you shake it is going to make a sound. So let me hear that. Okay, thank you. Now, if you have a tambourine, or I don't know if anybody was brave enough to grab the little cymbals. Okay, they're made out of metal, right? The reason we weren't shaking the tambourines is because tambourine has a metallic sound because of the metal discs. And so there's cymbals and tambourines and an African shaker with metallic. So if you have something with metal, shake it or hit it. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, all the other people who haven't had a chance to you know, show off yet should have something. Well, that was a drum. You should have done that when I called the drums. We'll do it again though. But okay, if you have an instrument made out of wood, such as a little that's in the shape of a frog or a turtle or a sausage, okay, whatever. Okay, if you have an instrument made out of wood, you don't shake it, you have to hit it or scrape it. Okay. Okay. All right, very good. So these are the sections of our orchestra. See, whereas a symphony orchestra has strings and brass and woodwinds and what else? Okay, we have drums, right? We have metal, we have wood, and shaker. So I'll tell you what, everybody together. All right. Now, okay. Just now, you were playing what is known as a sustained sound, right? You just make it go as long as you want or until I tell you to stop. All right. But there's other types of ways to make to use your sounds. So one of the great ways to use it is with rhythms that come from our words, okay? So I'm going to say some words. I want you to repeat the words, but as you say the words, I want to hear the sound of your instrument to go along with your voice. So I'm going to start with my hands, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, daylight come. Daylight come. Very good. Okay. That's it. Okay. All right. Let's try it again. I like to hear all the instruments and all the voices. I go first. Daylight come. Daylight come. I want to go home. And if I put that all together, it sounds like this. Daylight come and I want to go home. Now, some of you from my generation may remember that song that Harry Belafonte sang in the late 50s called Deo, but a lot of people know that because in the early 90s, Beetlejuice came out and used it again. All right? So, listen, I'm going to do something with my guitar like this. Okay, but now we're going to repeat. No, wait a minute. I didn't ask anybody to play yet. Okay, repeat after me, just like you did a minute ago. Daylight come. Daylight come. Oh, and you can use your instruments, or voice and instruments. I'm sorry. Okay. Daylight come. Daylight come. I want to go home. Now I'm going to put it together. Listen. Daylight come and I want to go home. Daylight come and I want to go home. Very good. What you're doing with your instrument now is performing what I call a word rhythm, right? The rhythm that came out of your instrument pretty much followed what your voice was doing, okay? And it's amazing how young children can tune into that concept and perform rhythms based on the language that they're able to express, okay? Now, my guitar was doing something different. This is not the rhythm of my words, right? It just kept going, all right? So, for right now, if you have maracas or, let's see, let me just mix it up a little bit. Tell you what, maracas and tambourines, all right? Maracas, tambourines, or the other, I do have some instruments that are not maracas that you shake, all right, that are not tambourines. So maracas and tambourines, if you shake it, I want you to help my guitar like this. Okay? So it just keeps going, right? You don't have to worry about how many times you do it, and you don't have to worry about what your voice says. They just keep it going. Now everybody else with the wood and the drums, I want you to repeat after me with your voice and your instrument. Daylight come. Daylight come. I want to go home. Daylight come and I want to go home. All right, now let's do some of the song like this. I work all night till the morning comes. Daylight come and I want to go. Oh, yeah. Don't repeat after me. You're going to do the people with the drums and the wood are going to do their word phrase like this. I work all night till the morning comes. Daylight come and I want to go home. I pick bananas till the morning comes. Daylight come and I want to go home. Daylight come and I want to go home. If you were just helping me, if you just participated in making a sound and organizing that sound with a rhythm, you're a music maker. So how many music makers do I have in the room? All right, thank you. The activity I just did with you, I've done many, many, many times with grades K through 5th, so basically school age. It's not exactly what I did the song with preschoolers, but this arrangement where you were helping me do 2 different rhythms simultaneously, okay, little bit sophisticated for preschool children, although not that far away as you'll see. we're going to look at some material that's very similar that I have done with preschool children, and that I would like to invite you to leave here and also share with your children. Because as I told you, as Teacher Paul, I function as a music leader, and whether it doesn't matter whether you've ever taken a music lesson in your life, you are a human being, you're a musical person, and to recognize the value in very simple music making activities can be a benefit for your children in a very dynamic way. It's very appropriate, it's very age appropriate, because as we'll look at some information, they're very sensitive to sound, and they're very sensitive to rhythm, and they really understand musical form. That was part of what got me back to do the research for my doctoral degree. Okay, as I was engaging with these young children doing different music activities, I mean, it was very cute, right? The kids are cute. You know, I hand them a pair of maracas, right, and let them just jam, let them go for it, okay? But, you know, as you're doing it 5 days a week, you know, over many weeks, months, and years, you know, you still see the cuteness, and it's quite wonderful. You know, they touch your heart, but you begin to see patterns, right, behavioral patterns. And I began to really realize that I was not a music teacher with these young children. Maybe I was a song teacher. I mean, I may have taught them a song, or maybe taught them an activity, but I was not teaching them the concept of making music, because I was walking in with new groups and doing things, and they did it. I mean, they followed me. They started and stopped, did rhythms that continued, did rhythms based on what they were, you know, expressing. So this is why the dissertation I did was called Investigating Young Children's Music Making Behavior. So let's just quickly cover some basics about that that I would like to share with you. So, you know, music making behavior goes back a long time, you know, in human history. Actually, even earlier, I don't know exactly what year this vase or wall was made, but you've all seen these Egyptian images, whatnot. So we know it goes back a long time, and there's many like this, but I hadn't seen a lot that actually showed a younger person along with the adults. You typically see the adults playing, but I like this one, that they acknowledge that younger people are also music makers. Music making can get very robust, right? Many people can come together and enjoy doing variations of what we were just doing. And whether more music makers is all about more music, I don't know, because I know that my friend Colt here, when he gets into doing his drum, whether he's by himself or, you know, with a few friends or whatever, he's going to get into his music making and gain from that, you know, to his heart's content. This is a song I'm very proud to have written many years ago. All right, it's called the Dinosaur Song. And I know your instruments are lurking nearby, but just leave them under your chair for right now. I want to take you through a process with the Dinosaur Song. So although the words are in front of you, let me present it to you, and we'll take it from there. So just be my audience for a moment, and here is a version of the Dinosaur Song. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I saw a dinosaur. 5, 6, 7, 8, skating on some roller skates. 2, 3, 4, 5. I just couldn't believe my eyes. 6, 7, 8, 9. Bring them back. Those skates are mine. And I do have a little drawing that my son did for me, my son the artist, of a little girl standing there like this looking at the dinosaur saying, bring them back, those skates are mine. So the visuals do help when you're telling the story. But anyway, I want to ask you a question. Now, I just performed the first part of the Dinosaur Song, and now you heard the words, right, as I was articulating the words, and you also heard me clap, right? You heard right? You know that, everybody recognized that sound of putting your hands together. Now let me ask you this. Was I clapping through the whole song? Okay, I'm hearing no. So when was I clapping? On the numbers. Okay, very good. So I'd like you to help me. Okay, we're going to do the dinosaur song, and I just want you to clap on the numbers with me, okay? And if you want to do the words along, that's great. Okay, here we go. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I saw a dinosaur. 5, 6, 7, 8. Skating on some roller skates. 2, 3, 4, 5. I just couldn't believe my eyes. 6, 7, 8, 9. Bring them back. Those skates are mine. All right, very good. All right, now, you were just making a sound using what I call your body drum, okay? I'm kind of borrowing that term. I don't know if any of you are familiar with a methodology called Orff-Schubert. Karl Orff was a German composer and educator back in the early 20th century. And when you say Orff-Schubert, it's translated as Orff's method. So he was using a lot of rhythm ideas with young children. Okay, so he referred to using the sounds of our body as body percussion. And I just simplified that for my sake with the younger children, calling it your body drum. So when you're clapping, you're using your body drum, right? Because that's what a drum does. Certainly you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, just like you were clapping. So let's use another sound from our body drum. When I say go, I want you to just take your two hands and just slap your thighs. You don't have to do it hard, okay? Just one time on your thighs, ready, go. And now clap, go. And thighs, and clap. Okay, now I know you're listening, right, because you're all good musicians here. So are those two sounds the same or different? Different. Okay, so your body is truly like a drum, because here's a bongo drum, and here's a sound here, and a sound here, okay? And young children recognize, when I do that with my preschoolers, I'll say, are those sounds the same or different? And of course, it's, in one sense, it's the sound of a drum. Both sounds are the sounds of a drum, but they hear the tones, so they'll say different because they are different tones. So we're going to use those two tones. Watch me. All right. So I'm keeping a beat going, kind of like what we did with some of the instruments. All right. Now, did you notice where I started? Okay, I started on my, okay, wait a minute, not yet, okay, but thank you. Okay, I started on my legs. So when I count you in, I want you to start on your legs and then keep it going, right? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay. Now repeat after me. Little dinosaur. Little dinosaur. Skating to the store. Skating to the store. Skating through the door. Skating through the door. Skating up and down. Skating up and down. All around the store. All around the store. Okay, very good. So, now we're into preschool music, okay? All right. Of course, there's hundreds of songs that the preschoolers love, but this one I created for very specific reasons, all right, which we're going to talk about, okay? Was that music making behavior? Okay, well, we've already done a little introduction about that. So, well, be skeptical. Say, oh, I don't know. Is that music making behavior? You know, it doesn't sound like a Beethoven symphony. Now, when I hear Beethoven, when I hear the Beatles, when I hear jazz, I know that's music, you know, but the dinosaur song, you know, isn't that just a little poem where we're clapping? Okay, well, let's find out, all right, if this was going to work for me. Okay, so what is maybe not a universally accepted definition, but a very popular and common, is that music is organized sound. And in my work with young children, I adhere to this definition because I see it makes sense to children. Okay? So going with the idea that we're going to use this definition, okay, did we make sounds? Okay, sound of our voice. And with our body drum, we were first clapping, all right, only, and then we used the two sounds together. Okay? So if music is organized sound, how did we organize the sound? Okay. We did it in two ways. First, we did it rhythmically. Okay? In the first part, it was organized by the rhythm that we were articulating, right? In the numbers. Okay? But then we also did a rhythm. You know, that's a very popular rhythm, important rhythm in music called a pulse or a steady beat. All right? So with the sounds we were creating, we organized them rhythmically first. but also there was structure there, okay? In section 1, the structure was created by recognizing there were numbers and there was words. We were clapping on the numbers and articulating the words, okay? In section number 2, okay, it was organized because we kept the beat going, and then I identified myself as the leader by saying, repeat after me, so we did call and response, okay? So this is now getting into this idea, and the article in Young Children was all about identifying music-making behavior with young children as a game, okay? All right. The rules, you know, every game has rules, and by these simple instructions that I gave you, which you had no problem following, clap on the numbers, keep the beat, repeat after me, okay? But guess what? Those rules allowed us to work together to create music, all right? We engaged in music-making behavior, okay? And children get that, and preschool children, as young as 2 years old, which I can attest to because the research project I did, I mean, in my work in LA for 12 years, I was doing 5-month-olds through 5 years. Okay, and I certainly can speak. How many infant teachers do we have here today? Okay, no, not in. Okay, some infant and toddlers. Okay, so I've worked with infants and toddlers, and in the project I did for my dissertation, the youngest child was 2 years, 3 months. You know, so officially a toddler. Anyway, so what I want to espouse and what I want to communicate is that to a young child, music-making behavior is not about learning music. Okay? No more than when they play, it's to them about learning play. They do it. Right? It's behavioral. It's experiential. They engage in it. They are simply being in the world in the way they know how. So they are learning about music, but that is not their intention. You know, it happens, right? Their intention is to be in the world and to play. And I'm using a couple things about it's not about artistic expression, because as adults, music is very much focused on the idea of artistic expression or even cultural expression, and for good reason, because it is, okay? And as children are engaging in it, those things are, you know, they may or may not be occurring, more cultural. I mean, even the dinosaur song is cultural. I mean, if someone in another culture or country was doing a song about a dinosaur, it might be very different from my dinosaur song. So it's certainly taking a cultural form. But, and it's certainly not about being musically proficient. Children do it in the way that, in that moment, they will do it, you know, I mean, it's not at all about, you know, how accurately or how proficiently they do it. Like when I ask them to clap on the numbers, they might go 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, whereas I may be modeling clapping on each number, they may just clap on 1, or they might go 1, 2, 3, 4, you know. So I'm not looking, wait a minute, you didn't clap on all the numbers. You know, it's not about trying to, you know, see where they are in their proficiency. It's about engaging them, okay? They basically follow the structures. Okay, so whereas their perspective is about being in the world and about play, we know, okay, because we are studying, you know, about them, we know it's about social emotional development, building concepts, constructing meaning, and self-expression. And of course, building concepts and constructing meaning certainly go together, because we know concepts are a synthesis of elements. You know, if a pile of fur blows in the door, you know, it might be kind of scary. But if that pile of fur comes in the door on the top of 2 legs with ears hanging down and a tongue and a tail wagging and it goes woof woof, all of a sudden now it's a dog, right? Then we identify it. So that's a concept, right? Children understand concepts. They're always synthesizing, you know, what they see, what they hear, and their experiences. So through the concepts, they're building meaning to their world. So this is very much what happens through experiences like the dinosaur song, right? They're synthesizing the elements, the sound, the rhythm, the structures. Okay, it's very developmentally appropriate. Right? I've introduced a very simple concept to you this afternoon about sound, rhythm, and structure. I'm just going through different applications. So basically, you could say on the one hand, it's the same thing over and over, but because of the repertoire, because of the different songs, again, the children do not experience that. At least in the 12 years, I can say that when you repeat, when you vary the songs, even though the instruments, I use the same instruments all the time. My little collection, wood, drums, shakers, going through a series of concepts or a series of maybe approaches, using songs. Songs become the springboard. See, thinking about the dinosaur song, thinking about This Old Man, or songs that you may do regularly with your group. Simple songs like Itsy Bitsy Spider, and Twinkle Little Star, they don't have a dual structure like this. It's kind of like you just sing it through. But there again, because they're short songs and because the kids know them, I haven't broken down the structure of those songs. I keep it as a whole entity and just have children take turns doing it. Like, who wants to help me with Itsy Bitsy Spider? Somebody's raising their hand, they come up, and what sound do you think, would help the spider go up the water spout? If you want to keep it in context. And they'll pick their instrument, and then, you do it. And the kids, again, you might have one child do that, or partners, or several. And the rest are, become the audience, and they're enjoying their peers do their musical performance. But this kind of opens up, certainly for 4- and 5-year-olds, and again, over a period of time, I've done it even with 3-year-olds. But this verse and chorus gives you a structure that is so readily accessible. And what I mean is this. The chorus is very distinct. All right? It's always distinct from the verse. And I would invite you to organize it this way. Play the instruments on the chorus. Okay? Now, you may introduce that term to the children or not, but you're modeling it. So you say, you know what? The people with instruments, I want you to help me when I play my drum. Okay? And let's sing. So everyone, can you help me with Skip to My Lou? If you know this song, it goes like this. Here with instruments and voices. Here we go. Lou, Lou, skip to my Lou. Lou, Lou, skip to my Lou. Lou, Lou, skip to my Lou. Skip to my Lou, my darling. Okay, end of chorus. When the kids know the song, they know the chorus ends. Then you go to the first verse. You could, as music leader, you could take it on, if you want. If you don't want to sing it, you could speak it. I lost my partner, what'll I do? I lost my partner, what'll I do? I lost my partner, what'll I do? Skip to my Lou, my darling. Now everybody help me, here we go. Lou, Lou, skip to my Lou. Lou, Lou, skip to my Lou. Lou, Lou, skip to my Lou. Skip to my Lou, my darling. So just like in the dinosaur song, where you're identifying different sections, again, I cannot say, the children follow this so readily, and they enjoy it. So when you have a known song with various verses, you just alternate, right? Voices only on the verse, whether you sing or speak it, and then everyone joins in, or those who have instruments. And if you're taking turns with children with instruments, of course the children sitting can become part of the orchestra by using their body drum. You can say, I will frequently say to the children who do not have instruments, I'll say, okay, I want you to help the drums. You can clap your hands or use your body drum. So as we launch, here everybody has an instrument, but I could have divided and had some with instruments and some use body drums, okay? And it engages everybody. They don't necessarily just have to sit and listen, okay? Now, this idea of a verse or chorus and verse is a very creative concept for you, and I will challenge you to say that with this idea, you can create a song on any topic or subject or theme that you want to. And for the sake of time today, I'm choosing red, okay? Kids know red, and I don't know if you've ever given thought to creating a song about red, but you know, it's not a bad theme to create a song on. And I did skip over something. So here's what we're going to keep in mind, that a chorus expresses the main idea and it repeats throughout the song, whereas the verse tells the story and it's usually only performed one time. Another quick example is Jingle Bells. You know, when we get around the holidays, you know, everybody knows the chorus of Jingle Bells. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all. Okay, so that's the chorus, right? The verse, dashing through the snow, you know, tells the story, right? And you usually do the verse one time, and then you go back to the chorus. Jingle bells, okay. So again, same as, do you see the parallel with Skip to My Lou and Jingle Bells? I don't know, see, someone who sits around and thinks about music a lot, you know, I say, hey, you know, there's a structural, you know, cohesion there. You know, they parallel. So let's create a song about the color red. Now, I'm going to share with you my process, okay? All right? The process is, okay, the title of the song has to do with red, and you don't need rhyming words, but rhyming words are fun. They have an energy around them. Kids like rhyming. So I literally think about what words rhyme with red. Start at the beginning of the alphabet. I didn't think of anything with A, although there might be one. But bed, bread, you know, dead, I'm probably not going to use that word, even though it rhymes, you know. All right, it just brings up other issues, you know, with the kids. All right, so again, there's lead, whatever. So for this activity, I'll just skip ahead. I got to the letter S, said. Okay, kids hear that word, they know it, all right? So this was my teacher prep, okay? Didn't take me hours. I said, okay, I like red, I like red. That's what I said, I like red. Okay, so now we have a chorus to our song about red. Could everybody help me with that? With your instrument and your voice, there's the words, ready, go. I like red, I like red. That's what I said, I like red. Okay, so we have a chorus, but we need a verse. So here's what happens. Okay, and this was taken from an actual classroom experience. I had my clipboard, okay, although I did rewrite this for this workshop. But, okay, you ask the children, what do they know about the color red? Or however you want to, you know, present your prompt. A child said, I have red socks. Somebody said, I have a red shirt. I drew a picture with a red marker. Apples are red. My mom's car is red. Whatever. Anything they say works, right? It's about red, okay? And therefore, we have a verse. And if, all right, you don't necessarily need 10 things. You could, you know, you can really get by with like 3 or 4, all right? But here we have 10 ideas about the color red. So we take the first 4. That's our first verse, okay? In any order, doesn't matter. So, do you remember our chorus? Okay, yeah. Okay, please remember the chorus. I like red, I like red. That's what I said, I like red. All right, so now, for right now, I will take on the duties of performing the verse, okay? But I could certainly appropriate that duty to all of you or any of you or, you know, the children, whatnot. But I'll do it just to show you. And sometimes the music leader should. Anyway, chorus, here we go, go. I like red, I like red. That's what I said, I like red. I have red socks. I have a red shirt. I drew a picture with a red marker. Apples are red. Chorus, I like red, I like red. That's what I said, I like red. Okay, and now of course we could continue, all right? The next verse would be other things that other children contributed to the song. So it's a perfect structure.